Ever feel like you're limited by, well, just being you? Like, what if you could just think something and it would, happen?
It's a question that's captivated philosophers and scientists for
And
centuries.
it's one that Neuralink is claiming they might have an answer to, right? I mean, they're saying they're actually building that bridge between our brains and technology.
Wild, right? So today, we're diving into what Neuralink is really all about. All the potential, all the, frankly, kind of scary stuff. We're covering it.
It's some pretty mind-bending stuff, to be sure.
No kidding. So to start, when we say Neuralink, what are we actually talking about? Like, what is this thing?
So in the simplest terms, Neuralink is developing what's called a brain-computer interface.
Hmm.
It's a device, a real physical thing that interacts with the electrical signals in your brain.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there. Because whenever I hear that, it still sounds like something straight out of the Matrix. Are we talking like chips and brains here? Essentially, yes. Though chip might be underselling it a bit. It's a tiny device, sure, about the size of a button, but it's packed with incredibly sophisticated technology. And it's designed to be implanted directly into the skull, where it can interface directly with the brain.
See, that's the part that always gets me brain surgery. Just to, scroll Twitter with my mind.
Yeah.
So how does this even work? How do they get this thing to, talk to our brains?
Well, imagine your brain as a vast network of interconnected computers, all
Right.
constantly sending signals back and forth. That's essentially what's happening. Electrical impulses are how your brain communicates.
Right, neuron synapses, all that good stuff.
Exactly. So Neuralink's device is designed to pick up on these electrical signals, interpret them, and even transmit signals back.
So theoretically, you could, think open Netflix and it would, no more remotes.
That's the idea, though we're not quite there yet. But restoring lost motor function is a major focus for Neuralink. There was a case study published last year, a paralyzed individual who was able to control a robotic arm just by thinking about it, all thanks to a brain-computer interface very similar to Neuralink's design. Pretty amazing stuff.
Okay, that's genuinely incredible. But it has to be said, brain surgery, even for something this groundbreaking, has got to come with some serious risks.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you're talking about a surgical procedure, especially one as delicate as implanting a device in the brain, there are inherent risks. Infection, inflammation, even seizures are all possibilities that have to be taken extremely seriously.
And then there's the whole what happens next question. Like, we stick this thing in our brains, what then? What are the long-term implications of having a device like this just, hanging out in our heads?
That's a question researchers are still working to fully understand. The brain is incredibly complex, and we're only just scratching the surface of how it works. Introducing a foreign object, even a sophisticated one like Neuralink, could have unforeseen consequences down the line.
Like, what kind of consequences are we talking about here?
Well, hacking, for one. This technology, as promising as it is, could be vulnerable to malicious actors. Imagine someone hijacking this technology to gain access to your thoughts, your memories.
Okay, yeah, now we're getting into some Black Mirror territory.
Right. And then there are the wider societal implications. What happens when you have a technology that could potentially create a divide between those who have it and those who don't? Will it be equally accessible to everyone, or will it further exacerbate existing inequalities?
So we're talking about a potential future where the rich get brain upgrades, and the rest of us are stuck with, our clunky old biological hardware.
It's a valid concern, and one we need to be discussing. There's also the question of data privacy. What happens to all the information that this device is collecting about your brain activity? Who has access to it, and how is it being used?
Okay, so maybe hold off on those pre-orders for now, folks. Seriously, though, this is heavy stuff. It seems like every potential benefit comes with a potential risk that's just as big, if not bigger.
It's a classic double-edged sword scenario. Neuralink and brain-computer interfaces in general have the potential to be incredibly beneficial. Imagine a world without paralysis, where neurological disorders are a thing of the past, where learning and communication are enhanced in ways we can barely even imagine.
It's pretty utopian.
It does, right. But achieving that utopian vision requires careful consideration of the potential downsides and a commitment to ethical development and implementation. We need to be asking tough questions about who controls this technology, who benefits from it, and what safeguards need to be in place to prevent misuse.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about how we choose to use it and what kind of future we want to build with it.
Exactly. It's a conversation that needs to involve scientists, policymakers, ethicists, and the public at large. Because we're talking about technology that could fundamentally change what it means to be human.
And that's the thing, right? This isn't just some incremental upgrade. This is a potential paradigm shift. And it's happening now. So here's something for everyone listening to chew on. If Neuralink were available tomorrow, with all its potential benefits and risks, would you get one?
And perhaps even more importantly, what would you want the world to look like if everyone had access to this technology? Let us know your thoughts.
It's a brave new world out there, folks. We'll be here to help you navigate it one deep dive at a time.